Good morning, students. This is your Hardcore 2 class on structural organization and function of endoplasmic reticulum and also peroxisomes. So now first let us move on to endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum, it is a network of membranous tubules within the cytoplasm of a eukaryotic cell, and it continues with the nuclear membrane and is usually has a ribosomes attached and is involved in protein and also in a lipid synthesis. So this endoplasmic reticulum, it is continuous with the nuclear membrane and it helps in protein synthesis and also lipid synthesis. And this endoplasmic reticulum was discovered by K.R. Porter, Claude and Thomson in 1945, but the name was given by Porter in 1953. So Porter gave the name for a endoplasmic reticulum in the year 1953. And this endoplasmic reticulum, it occurs in all eukaryotic cells except ova, embryonic cells and mature RBCs. It is also absent in a prokaryotic cells. Endoplasmic reticulum is quite extensive in metabolically active cells, simple in storage cells and also reduced in spermatocytes. So this is the diagram of endoplasmic reticulum. So what I told, this endoplasmic reticulum, it is continuous with the nuclear membrane. So in the diagram you might observe this is the nuclear membrane and endoplasmic reticulum, it is continuous with the nuclear membrane and it is having a membranous tubules. So these are the membranous tubules. So next let us move on to the structure of endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum is an extensive three-dimensional network of vacuolar system that extends from the nuclear membrane up to plasma membrane, and this endoplasmic reticulum occupy 10% of total cell volume, and its membrane accounts for 30 to 60% of cellular membranes and increases the internal surface 30 to 40 times as compared to the external surface. So this endoplasmic reticulum, it's going to extend the internal surface when compared to the external surface. And endoplasmic reticulum divides the intracellular space into two distinct compartments, that is luminal and extraluminal compartments. So this endoplasmic reticulum, it is going to differentiate into two distinct compartments, that is luminal, that is inside endoplasmic reticulum, and extraluminal, that is in the cytoplasm. So these two are the compartment of a endoplasmic reticulum. This endoplasmic reticulum exists in three morphological forms. So the structure consists of three parts, that is first one is the cisternae, second one is the tubules and third one is the vesicle. So these are the parts of a endoplasmic reticulum. So in the diagram you might observe the presence of a cisternae. So these are the branch like structures, these are called as a cisternae, and also presence of a tubules. So tubules, these are the tube like structures, tubules, and also vesicles, these are small round ball like structures also present in the tubules, these are called as a vesicles. So now let us study in brief about these parts of endoplasmic reticulum. So first one is a cisternae. So these are flattened, unbranched sac-like structures and they lie parallel to each other. So in the diagram you might observe the parallel arrangement of cisternaes, and they are interconnected and may be covered with ribosomes. So because of the presence of the ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, it helps in a protein synthesis, and these cisternae occur in cells having active synthetic roles. So second one is a tubules. So tubules are irregularly branched tube-like structures which form a network along with other elements. They do not possess ribosomes on their surface. So on the surface of tubules there will be the absence of ribosomes. They are more common in cells engaged in lipid and steroid synthesis. So tubules help in lipid and also steroid synthesis. Next, third part is the vesicles. So these are round, spherical and ovoid structures, and diameter varies from 25 to 500 micrometer, and these are found dispersed in the cytoplasm. So in the cytoplasm these vesicles are dispersed and they are rich in pancreatic cells. So these vesicles are rich in pancreatic cells. So this is about the parts or the structure of endoplasmic reticulum. So next is types of endoplasmic reticulum, and this endoplasmic reticulum is of two types, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum and also rough endoplasmic reticulum. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum is also called as agranular endoplasmic reticulum, and rough endoplasmic reticulum is also called as granular endoplasmic reticulum. So in the diagram you can differentiate rough endoplasmic reticulum and also smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum there will be the absence of the granules. So in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum there will be the absence of granules, that is there will be the absence of ribosomes, but in rough endoplasmic reticulum we can observe the presence of a ribosomes. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum we might observe the absence of ribosomes, and it's composed of mainly tubules and vesicles. These smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they are composed of tubules and also vesicles. Next, second one is rough endoplasmic reticulum. These bears ribosomes on the surface, so they are called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. The surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum contains two types of glycoproteins. So in the rough endoplasmic reticulum on the surface we observe two glycoproteins, that is riboforin first and riboforin second. So these are the two glycoproteins which helps in attachment of ribosomes, that is riboforin 1 and 2. And this rough endoplasmic reticulum composed of mainly cisternae and tubules are very few. So in case of smooth endoplasmic reticulum we mainly observe tubules and vesicles, but in case of rough endoplasmic reticulum we observe cisternae and tubules. So this is about the types of endoplasmic reticulum. So next is the functions of endoplasmic reticulum. So first function, endoplasmic reticulum provides mechanical support to the cytoplasmic matrix. So it is going to help in the support. Second one is it provides a large surface area for the synthesis of various materials, for the synthesis of some of the steroids and also some of the proteins. This endoplasmic reticulum helps, and also this endoplasmic reticulum keeps the various organelles in their position. And the fourth one, it facilitates quick intracellular transport, thus forming the circulatory system of the cell. So what it's going to do is it is going to facilitate the intracellular transport, that is transport of some of the elements inside the cell. And next, this endoplasmic reticulum extends through plasmodesmata as desmotubules and control the movement of materials between adjacent cells. So sometimes it also acts as a plasmodesmata and is going to control the materials between the cells, two adjacent cells. So these are the some of functions of endoplasmic reticulum. So next is the second organelle, that is peroxisomes. So in the diagram you are going to observe the peroxisome. It is consists of lipid bilayer, enzymes, and also central core called as crystalline core, and also presence of the proteins called as transport proteins. So these peroxisomes, in addition to lysosomes, these are smaller particles than mitochondria and also lysosomes, and these found in the liver cells. And these particles are rich in enzyme peroxidase, catalase, D-amino acid oxidase, and to a lesser extent urate oxidase, and these are called as peroxisomes. So these peroxisomes are very small particles and they consist of rich amount of enzymes. And peroxisomes are found in liver, kidney, protozoa, yeast, and many cell types of higher plants. So we might observe these in all cells. And peroxisomes present in a plant cells show some morphological similarities to the peroxisomes in the animal cells. But plant peroxisomes have different enzymes, including the enzyme of glyoxylate cycle. So these peroxisomes have different enzymes, that is the enzymes which are involved in the glyoxylate cycle, also example for the peroxisome. Hence their name is glyoxisome. So for that purpose peroxisomes also called as glyoxysomes. Next is the structure of peroxisome. And this peroxisome are ovoid, granular, limited by a single membrane. So these are the ovoid granules, and they contain a fine granular substance which may condense in the center, forming an opaque and homogeneous core or nucleoid. So in the center we are going to observe a condensed form of a nucleoid. And the average size of the peroxisome in the rat liver cell is 0.6 to 0.7 micrometer. So it is very minute, and the number of peroxisome per cell varied between 70 to 100. And in contrast to the nucleoid containing peroxisomes found in liver and kidney, there are others which are smaller and lack a nucleoid. So some of the peroxisomes, they consist of a nucleoid, but some they lack the nucleoid. These are called microperoxisomes, that is the smaller one, they are called as a microperoxisome and they lack the nucleoid. And these microperoxisomes found in all cells and are related to endoplasmic reticulum, and these may be considered as a region of endoplasmic reticulum in which catalase and other enzymes are found. So in the microperoxisomes, the enzyme catalase is also found. And we also observe some of the peroxisomal enzymes. So the enzymes of peroxisomes are synthesized in the ribosomes attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and catalase is found in the matrix of peroxisomes and represent up to 40% of a total protein. In plants, peroxisomes carry out photorespiration. In this process, glycolic acid released from chloroplast is oxidized by glycolic acid oxidase present in peroxisomes. So this peroxisomes helps in photorespiration, and this photorespiration we are going to observe in C3 plants. And this oxidation carried out by oxygen produces hydrogen peroxide, and in this reaction hydrogen peroxide is going to release, which is then decomposed by catalase enzyme inside the peroxisome. And photorespiration is so named because light induces the synthesis of glycolic acid in chloroplast. The entire process involves intervention of both chloroplast and peroxisome. So this photorespiration, which is involved in both chloroplast and also in peroxisome, and catalase is also found in the peroxisomes of microbodies. So this is about the structure and also enzymes of a peroxisome. So next is the function of peroxisome. So the main function of peroxisome is the breakdown of very long chain of fatty acids, that is beta oxidation, and also hydrogen peroxide metabolism and glycolate pathway, and also photorespiration. So photorespiration, so it is one of the major carbon metabolism pathway in oxygen producing photosynthetic organisms. So whatever I told, it is observed in the C3 plants, that is maize. So this is the C3 plant, and we can observe the photorespiration. So in this pathway recycles 2-phosphoglycolate, it's a toxic metabolite, to 3-phosphoglycerate, that is 2-phosphoglycolate is recycled to 3-phosphoglycerate by the use of Rubisco in case oxygen is used instead of a carbon dioxide. So this is about the function of peroxisomes. So by this, in this class, we came to know about structure and function of endoplasmic reticulum and also lysosome. In the next class, let us discuss about other organelles. Thank you.